Drawing fouls is fine. I don't complain about nobody drawing fouls. Flopping and exaggerating contact is different. It's like when somebody barely touched you and you selling a call to make it seem like you just got shot by 2 police officers. Big difference.
You know, originally I wasn't gonna make an entire video on this, but I just couldn't help myself. I couldn't control I had to involve myself somehow. So Jaylen Brown is literally beefing with the entire NBA, and Draymond Green is, he's Draymond Green. We'll get to that in a little minute, but the Jaylen Brown situation is the funniest I've ever seen in my life. So the Celtics blew a 3-1 lead to the Sixers, and the day after, like, he didn't even let this shit marinate. The day after they lost, he sparked up a live stream and just lights up the entire referee staff. Like, it's really a new era of NBA basketball. Imagine Magic Johnson going on live after the '84 finals talking about how the refs were so bad in game 2 against the Celtics. I kind of rock with it. But the NBA was not rocking with Jaylen Brown at all. Fined my son $50,000 for that. That's some third world country's net worth. Yo, Jaylen, how we feeling, buddy? And I do not want to hear in the comments,
well, he's a multi-millionaire. That's like $50 to him.
I don't care how much money you make. If 50 bands comes out of your account, that's gonna hurt your chest. You're gonna feel a sharp pain radiating through your chest muscles.
Speaking of Austin Rivers, I saw he said he's bewildered and it's ridiculous of what I said. And I just find it interesting that a guy who was the 10th pick in my draft, I was 35, who's on his second act, I'm still on act 1, would say such things. He goes, Draymond, it's never been a scorer. Well, Austin, you and I averaged the same amount of points in high school when you were a scorer. I don't know what would qualify Austin Rivers to speak about scoring when in high school, me and you averaged the same amount of points. And I say high school because that's when you were at your best. That's when Austin Rivers was Austin Rivers in high school. And so that's why I point out the high school scoring because, I want to make it fair. I want to speak about him when he was at his best. And he was at his best at Winter Park, if I remember correctly. He had ESPN games. Like, that's when he was at his best. When he was faster than everybody and can just put his head down and drive right and get to the rim. And then in college, he was still good. He was very featured at Duke and, had a very big moment, where he hit the 3 on the wing. Like, you got to give him credit. That's when he was at his best, Well, in college, I averaged almost 17 points a game in the Big Ten. Very limited possessions, So I only want to speak about Austin at his best because NBA careers, should he really talk about my NBA career?
Ridiculous, but you know what? I'm going to address it because you crossed the line and you are mad disrespectful for whatever reason. You've been around too long. We both were drafted in the same class. The fact that you don't have the wherewithal to do your due diligence and actually understand I was being highly complimentary of you on the Dan Patrick Show, but it's you, and I shouldn't be surprised. You always act irrationally, emotionally immature, and your anger always puts you in hot water. So here I am having to address a video of you belittling my career. First off, Draymond, we weren't the same players in high school. I don't care about our numbers being similar. I did it at the national level, the top level. Hence why I got the Naismith Award, and I got pretty much every award you could think of in high school. I was ranked number 1. You were ranked, I don't know. So cut it out. Next. College, you actually were a really good college basketball player, but it's hard to compare because I was only there for 6 months, something you could never do. Talk about I was, one of the featured guys. No, I was the guy. I led my team in scoring. I was first team All-ACC, freshman player of the year, lottery pick. Stop. Next. The NBA, hey, man, you got it, Dre. I mean, listen, I played in the NBA for more than 10 years, more than a decade, but 11 years, but I'm not a Hall of Famer like you. So I'll give you that credit. All right? You got it. But let's peel back that onion and understand why. Easy, Tiger. Okay? You have the delusion, the non-wherewithal, the irony of you saying I'm part of the biggest bailout in NBA history. Draymond, you were the luckiest basketball player I think I've ever seen, especially in modern day history. Let's talk about that. You were drafted to a franchise with the Hall of Fame front office, Bob Myers. Draymond, you're the backpack jump shooter. You're the guy that everyone leaves open. No one guards you. There are hours and hours and hours of film of just you being left wide open. In fact, anybody can just YouTube or Google or watch any Draymond game ever, and he's open all game. There are clips of you getting a rebound and just driving in a straight line and just getting a wide open layup because everyone's fanning out to guard the actual talent on the team.
Let's get negative! So if you don't know about the Draymond situation, basically he was on his podcast saying Steve Kerr hindered his career. And then Austin Rivers went on the Dan Patrick Show and basically said Steve Kerr actually made his career. And then the back and forth started, and I can't lie, Austin Rivers is not wrong at all.
Juggernaut. He's left open 80% of the game. No one guards him.
Steve Kerr 100% made Draymond Green's career. Like, if Draymond wasn't drafted to the Warriors, he would have been a higher ceiling Isaiah Stewart. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Birdie. And it is the truth that he did run KD out of town. We're not talking about that, but that happened. But you can say the exact same thing for Austin Rivers. Son was low-key a bust. I know he played about 11 years in the league, but I mean, he was drafted 10th overall. No accolades. And his highest scoring season was 15 points per game. He was a role player, while Draymond Green is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know why they're having this argument, but it's great entertainment.
You talk about, oh, you need to play Nas one-on-one. But motherfucker, why don't you play me one-on-one, Draymond?
Whoa. Austin Rivers versus Draymond Green 1v1. Slow down. Y'all can keep that. I do not want to see that at all. But that's what I'm saying about that situation. Let me know in the comments whose side are y'all on. You know, all this carnage and crashing out, it's fun. It's fueling. Let's look at some of the best crash outs ever documented. Shall we? You know, I feel like I'm obligated to start with Malice at the Palace, and what I think is the craziest part about this brawl is the NBA suspended over 9 players for like 146 games, and they lost at least $11 million collectively. Why would have became an entire saint for the rest of my career? Straight Tim Duncan arc. Wait. Why did he get ejected for laughing again? Yo, Joey Crawford had to be on like a roid rage episode. He was tripping. You also can't forget those early 2000s Portland Trailblazer teams. You know, the Jailblazers. Like, imagine you took a championship caliber roster, then gave every single player anger issues, beef with the media, technical fouls, and absolutely zero self-control. You get Rasheed Wallace, Scottie Pippen, Damon Stoudemire, Steve Smith, Bonte Wells. Like, they had hoopers, but every week somebody was either getting arrested, suspended, screaming at refs, or fighting somebody. And the main culprit is Rasheed Wallace. Like, he might be the patron saint of NBA crash outs. Nowadays, players get one take and start acting mature, walking away. Rasheed Wallace will get a technical foul, then immediately get another one because the ref looked at him wrong. Bro was collecting texts like Infinity Stones. And the media absolutely hated this team. Like, looking back on it, Jailblazers is a crazy name. Like, nowadays, if teams act emotional, people call them passionate. Back then, they acted like the Trailblazers were like terrorist organization. But we all know how their story ended. Kobe lobbed to Shaq and it was grits. Going back to Draymond Green, he also has a history of crashing out. Like, there's something wrong with this guy. Kicking LeCrown Jules in 2016, doing the same shit to Steven Adams, curb stomping Sabonis, like putting Rudy Gobert in a headlock, punching Yusuf Nurkic, and then crunching Jordan Poole. Yo, we had to investigate this man. And then the Draymond Green clone Dennis Rodman. Draymond Green is a Dennis Rodman clone. You know what I mean. Dennis Rodman kicking a cameraman. Like, we also had to investigate Rodman. He was something different. And most recently, Kevin Durant completely ruining the entire Rockets chemistry. Basically calling Sengun and Jabari Smith the dumbest players he's ever played with. I honestly don't know how Kevin Durant is a Rocket. And he's not wrong. Jabari has to be the dumbest player I've ever seen in my life. So what did we learn from this video? Well, NBA players are the funniest crash outs in all of sports. Thank y'all so much for watching. I will catch you on my next video. Have a good one.